Season 2, Episode 1, A Living Legend. 3 years ago, Alucard enters an Egyptian temple and fights some vampires. He searches for Sekhmet's mummified corpse only to discover it's missing. The eclipse ends and Alucard explains to our group that Sekhmet's soul is divided between her blood and her heart. Alucard believes her corpse is in Paris, so he needs to destroy it to stop Elizabeth. Speaking of her, she is mourning the loss of Drolta, and it seems to be quite difficult for her. Victor is conflicted on whether to go with Alucard or stay with Maria, who is also mourning the loss of her mother. Well, loss as in loss of humanity. Elizabeth sends terror to the abbot as he and his night creatures are burying his fallen Christian men. The abbot does not lock Edouard away, curious as to what he'll do with his freedom. Maria is pissed at Victor for running away, as he always does, and she refuses to go to Paris with him. She instead talks with Alucard about the morality of vampires. He brings up his father and how the thing that redeemed him was his love for his wife and son. It seems love may be the key to restoring a vampire's humanity. Maria then sees the French National Guard and gets all excited because she's a staunch revolutionary. The abbot meets with Elizabeth, showing her less respect than before. He mentions how some night creatures retain their memories, and Elizabeth realizes he can possibly bring back Drolta.
Bring her back.
Victor, Annette, and Alucard leave Mizrak to watch over Maria as they head for Paris. Despite the abbot's doubts, since she was already undead, Drolta is given new life again, this time as a night creature. Oh boy, the implications of this are crazy. A solid first episode of the season though. The inclusion of Alucard is highly welcomed, and this season already seems to be striving for much more than the first. The pacing is nice so far, and personally, I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. Season 2, Episode 2, Angel of Death. In the same Egyptian temple, this time 600 years ago, we witnessed the massacre that resulted in Drolta turning into a vampire. Drolta was the high priestess of Sekhmet, so it makes sense as to why she is so loyal to Elizabeth, since Elizabeth is basically Sekhmet reincarnated. Victor, Annette, and Alucard find Juste, who defended himself from vampires during the eclipse. Victor asks Juste to look over Maria as well.
Are all Belmonts like this?
Irritating. Oh, yes.
We love Belmonts. Maria returns to her home to gather supplies when she encounters her mother. Tara tries to comfort Maria in her vampiric state, but Mizrak stops her and defends Maria. Juste breaks out the official Belmont drip as he visits his wife. He also states his commitment to this fight. Olak, still a double agent, informs Elizabeth about the French National Guard, so she sends Drolta after them since she is now immune to sunlight, now that she's a night creature. While hunting for food, Victor and Annette get attacked by vampires in the day. And Victor foolishly tells them about their mission in Paris, and one of them gets away. Genius. Drolta arrives to massacre the National Guard with some pretty good gore. Mizrak tries to intervene, but Olak stops him as he did before. Another good episode, where we learn a good bit about Drolta's past, which is surprising. Juste is back, and I hope he has a decent sized role since I really like his character, both narratively and for entertainment purposes. Also, the uncertainty of Tara's humanity is also a neat aspect I'm glad they're focusing on, since at least now, she is not beyond saving. Season 2, Episode 3, The Widow's Window. The French National Guard are all turned into night creatures, and Edouard tries to connect with the leader of the National Guard in her new state. Annette has been getting visions of spirits that have been increasingly demonic. She, along with Victor, saves some villagers from vampires despite Alucard stating that time is of the essence. Victor also tells Alucard how he gave away their plan, and Alucard is mad, but not surprised. Maria starts to experiment with dark magic, summoning more sinister animals with the guidance of Tara. Olak's absence from Elizabeth's cause has not gone unnoticed, so he is branded to cement his loyalty to her. Mizrak tries to reach out and convince the abbot to save his soul and do the right thing, but the abbot believes it's too late for him, and his sins cannot be amended. Maria summons a giant dark wolf and successfully controls it. Juste then arrives to save Maria from her mother.
You show me a rat that's different from any other rat. I've seen hundreds of vampires in my life, and they're all the same.
Tara overpowers Juste but refuses to kill him. Thank God. They see the army Elizabeth has built using the National Guard, and Maria is pissed, specifically at her father for creating the night creatures. As the sun rises, Tara begs Juice to stop her before she kills her father. Victor, Annette, and Alucard arrive in Paris just in time for King Louis XVI's execution. As he is executed, his spirit along with the other spirits haunting Annette grab her. Another good episode. I like the scene with the abbot. His motivations are starting to become more believable and grounded as they are expanded upon. He's still an idiot, but at least I kind of understand him. However, I don't know if it'll last much longer before somebody kills him. It's just a matter of who. Season 2, Episode 4, Monstrous Things. In 1614, Jolta meets Elizabeth, who is a serial child murderer, someone perfect to be reborn as her goddess, Sekhmet. Maria makes her way to the church where she confronts her father for his sins. She decides to use her dark magic to get her way. With some vividly terrifying animation, she conjures a dragon from the other side to bring judgment to the abbot. Juice tries to stop Maria, but she's already gone.
Most of what's bad in the world is because of stupid old men!
Maria's attempts to control the dragon don't seem to work as it begins to turn on its master. Just has regained his magic. Tara tells him to take Maria to safety, and then she starts to show signs of her true intentions. Richter and then Alucard enter the Louvre to find Sekhmet's corpse. The spirits guide Annette to her corpse, but Jolta and her night creatures arrive just in time for a battle for Sekhmet. Our group is unsuccessful and Jolta gets away with Sekhmet's corpse. A great episode, not gonna lie. Maria's confrontation with her father was as terrifying as I'd hoped, as she was rapidly descending towards literal darkness, perhaps with the aid of her mother. We also get a good fight in the Louvre, which is always nice. And yes, I think that's how it's pronounced, Louvre. Louvre? Whatever. Season 2, Episode 5, Into the Abyss. Once again in the Egyptian temple, Elizabeth is able to withstand drinking the blood of Sekhmet, showing that she is worthy of becoming the goddess Jolta desires. Alucard goes to speak with the revolutionaries, and sends Victor and Annette vampire hunting as they prepare the best they can for Elizabeth's invasion of Paris. Maria expresses to her mother about the path she has chosen, how it feels good. Juice takes a complete 180 of his speech to Victor, now believing in a more optimistic view of the world. He believes life is worth living. Maria agrees, but perhaps a little too much.
But I could be with you forever.
Tara stops her daughter's rage and then says goodbye, realizing the bad influence she now has over her. Bro, is Vampire Tara good or bad? I don't know. Edouard, surprise surprise, sings for the night creatures as they mourn the loss of their master, the abbot. Mizrak wants Orox to fight with them against Elizabeth, but sensing an unwinnable battle, he leaves to go back to the New World. Jolta reaches Elizabeth and grants her the last piece of her divine state. Richter and Annette camp in the catacombs as they reminisce about their mothers and the shared experiences that they have. Annette realizes that Sekhmet's soul could be in the spirit world, which means they can still get the last piece of her before Elizabeth does. And that is exactly what the spirits have been trying to tell her the whole time. Would have been convenient if they actually communicated that, but whatever. Anyways, still a decent episode where our characters are being explored deeper, which I appreciate. A good amount of characters get moments to shine in this episode, and I'm glad this show is starting to use the potential that these characters have. Season 2, Episode 6, Ancestors. Maria, along with Juice's help, reclaims who she was to prevent the dark magic from overtaking her. Annette follows through with the plan of retrieving Sekhmet's lost soul in the spirit world, where Richter and Alucard watch over her in the real world.
Oh, excuse me for not having 300 years to perfect the art of war.
9 generations later and sarcasm still runs in the Belmont blood. Trevor would be proud.
That single line made me feel more than anything in the show so far. Wow, I miss them. But I have grown to like our new cast of characters, especially in this season. Annette finally gets to see her mother again, but she has work to do. Richter asks Alucard if he could change his heritage because, well, he's Dracula's son. Alucard realizes that he wouldn't because of the sacred bond ancestors have with their descendants. Annette goes to Ogun, the god of iron, and he gives her a metal shield and transports her closer to Sekhmet. Alucard tells Richter to confess his love to her since he knows she loves him too. Very real of Alucard. Annette crosses a vast ocean and battles a serpent monster, barely escaping with her life. She arrives at Sekhmet's pyramid and tries to convince her to go against Erzsébet. Sekhmet tells her that she needs a worthy vessel, as 2 creatures attack them both. Meanwhile, Erzsébet eats the heart of Sekhmet, transforming her again and creating an eclipse. Again! Annette awakens and she is successful in her quest.
Where is she? Where is this Erzsébet?
Alright, that episode was epic. On one side, you have Annette's beautiful and treacherous journey through the spirit world just to be possessed by Sekhmet herself. It seems she has become worthy of a goddess. Then you have Alucard and Richter's talk about ancestors and love. Not only great for nostalgia, but to show the mentality and views of these great characters. Once again, we have set up a glorious confrontation between Erzsébet, Richter, Alucard, and now Sekhmet herself. Season 2, Episode 7, Grenadye Alaso. Richter, Alucard, and Sekhmet make their way to the battlefield as Annette prepares to fight for her life in the spirit world. With the voice of Edouard filling the air, the battle begins.
Now!
Liberty! Equality! Fraternity!
Richter protects Sekhmet as she begins to pull her souls outside of Erzsébet, disorienting her. Then the rest of the gang, including Marie, Just, and Mizrak, arrive on the scene. They have a lot to talk about, but they must wait. They line up in order to take down the demon that lies before them. At the same time, Alucard is holding off Drolta while Mizrak and Edouard take out night creatures. Olrox arrives to fight Drolta as Sekhmet tries her absolute hardest to reclaim what's hers from Erzsébet, burning up in the process. On the other side, Annette is barely holding her own against a powerful mythical creature. Mizrak gets fatally wounded, which causes Olrox to rescue him. Our heroes give everything they have combined in order to finish Erzsébet off for good. Sekhmet tries to reclaim her souls from the defeated Erzsébet, but Drolta swoops in like a vulture to save her messiah. At least, that's what Erzsébet thinks.
I am Sekhmet. You are my servant. Obey me.
You are not Sekhmet. I am Sekhmet, goddess of war, she who moves.
Finally, the first truly fantastic episode of Castlevania Nocturne. Like Castlevania's climactic fighting episodes, this one doesn't hold anything back, containing nothing but pure, high-octane epic battles thanks to gorgeous animation and sound design. This massive fight against Elizabeth is one of the best animated fights I've seen in quite some time. However, with a despicable betrayal, it is certain that this fight is not over yet. Season 2, Episode 8, A Line of Great Heroes. Drolta is now empowered with the blood of Sekhmet, and Alucard's eyes turn vampiric blood red as he resembles his father more than ever. Victor joins the fight as well, matching red with blue. This gives Sekhmet enough time to gain the strength to take back her souls from Drolta. Victor's one mission is now to keep Annette alive.
My friend, you know that's not what you'd want.
Holding the body of Annette in the real world, Victor communicates to her in the spirit world, giving her the boost she needs to defeat the mythical creature and make her way back home. Drolta, now weakened, makes one last attempt at winning this war. This kid has got some guts. They have won. Alucard apologizes to Juice for not being there all his life. Maria and Victor make up as they decide to go on their separate missions to fight oppression. Maria in Paris, and Victor in Saint-Domingue, alongside Annette and Edouard, who have completed their mission in the old world. Olox takes Mizrak to a secluded location. Mizrak fears that he will go to hell for his actions, but Olox ensures that won't happen. Alucard and Juice send Victor off, telling him not to waste a moment of his life. Maria looks on tearfully at his departure. Juice plans on sticking around to help Maria, while Alucard, witnessing the true power of love once again, decides he must go on his quest for love and see what happens. But as for Victor and Annette, they don't waste one more moment. Beautiful. This season has stuck the landing and then some, giving us an ending that is worthy of ending the whole show. I don't know if this is the end of Castlevania Nocturne, but if it is, I'm satisfied with it, giving us a nice closure to the developments and arcs of most of the characters while still leaving the story open to new possibilities, as I'm sure the story of Castlevania will live on. Number 5, Into the Abyss. Number 4, Monstrous Things. Number 3, Ancestors. Number 2, Grenadye Alaso. Number 1, A Line of Great Heroes. Castlevania Nocturne Season 2 has an average rating of 8.5 per episode. Well, 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 it seems Castlevania Nocturne has lived up to the original series. After an average Season 1, Castlevania Nocturne comes back and delivers a well-made and satisfying Season 2 to maybe even conclude the series. Whether or not this is the end of Castlevania Nocturne, it is undeniable that Season 2 is just better than Season 1 in every way. The character writing and pacing were much better, and this season felt smooth and quick with characters that live up to the Castlevania name. Richter, Annette, Maria, and Alucard are all characters with great arcs that truly shine, and with the further developments of the villains, this season creates a narrative that is a lot more enticing and interesting. Of course, the animation and action are top notch. What can I say? Saying a Castlevania show's animation is good is like saying Ufotable's animation is good. It's just breathtaking every time it shows off. I am really glad that this show saved its peak for the ending, to give us an incredibly satisfying conclusion that leaves the audience with a good taste in their mouths. Well done. I give Castlevania Nocturne Season 2 an 8.5 out of 10.